From the spring training home of the Chicago Cubs, Sloan Park in Mesa, Arizona, we're set for Cubs baseball, and should be fun today. A couple of teams with high playoff hopes, the Giants and the Cubs, coming up on WGN Sports. Great to have you with us. Along with Jim DeShays, I'm Len Casper. This is our final WGN telecast from Arizona. We'll see you in Las Vegas later this week. We've got a fun pitching matchup today. John Lackey for the Cubs. Jeff Samardzija will go for the Giants.
Yeah, a couple of guys that will slot into the 3 spot in their club's respective rotations. Newbies to each team. Lackey, a new Cub, obviously. Jeff Samardzija, after a rough year with the White Sox, joining the San Francisco Giants rotation. Lackey pitching for the 4th time this spring. Last time out, he pitched 6 innings in a minor league game. He's coming off a year in which he pitched one of his best years, really lowest ERA in his career. Jeff Samardzija is just the opposite. He had the 3rd highest earned run average in the American League. He led the league in hits and runs allowed.
And I think the season series is going to be fun. Remember the 4-game sweep the Cubs engineered last August? That seemed to be a benchmark weekend.
Yeah, two really good teams, 2 balanced teams, good rotations, plenty of offense, good bullpens. It should be a lot of fun when these 2 teams hook up during the regular season, and we anticipate a good day here at the ballpark today as well.
We'll have over 15,000 in the yard as the Cubs host the San Francisco Giants. Cactus League action coming up next on WGN. Is brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Honda. Get amazing deals at the Honda Dream Garage Sales Event, now at your Honda dealer. State Farm. Combine your car and home insurance with State Farm and start saving. Call your State Farm agent today or find one at statefarm.com. Mattress Firm, where we want you to sleep happy guaranteed. Remember, if it's over 8, it's time to replace. Your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And Chicago Cubs baseball in beautiful high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. We will have a sellout crowd once again today. Cubs averaging about 15,000 per. And we've got a celebrity in the house, and he actually had a Cubs uniform on earlier this morning. Huey Lewis, a huge baseball fan, longtime Giants fan, and I guess he'll be Bruce Bochy's bench coach today.
You know, according to Wikipedia, he was an all-state baseball player in high school. and he scored an 800 on his math SATs. So he's not a one-dimensional guy.
That's right. He can sing a little bit too. Let's get the Giants lineup written out by Bruce Bochy. Former Cub Angel Pagan will lead it off in left. Joe Panik is at second. Matt Duffy at third. Part of a terrific infield when you include the catcher Buster Posey as well. Parker in right, Blanco in center, Connor Gillespie is at first. Trevor Brown will catch today. A-Ray Adrianza is the shortstop, and ex-Cub Jeff Samardzija will pitch and bat ninth.
Cubs defensively are deployed thusly. In the outfield, it's Kyle Schwarber, Dexter Fowler, Jorge Soler. Good-looking young prospect at third base, Jamer Candelaria, Addison Russell, and Munenori Kawasaki up the middle. Jesus Guzman is the first baseman today. Miguel Montero will do the catching, and 60 feet 6 inches away is the big right-hander John Lackey, 6'6", 235, 37 years of age. An outstanding year last year with the Cardinals. He made 33 starts. He was 13-10 with a 2.77 earned run average.
Slot in number 3 behind Jake Arrieta and John Lester. Good news on the Arrieta front this morning. The plan is that he'll throw a bullpen session tomorrow and make his scheduled start Tuesday against the A's. Great weather here. That's been the case throughout the month of March. Assuming everything goes fine with the thumb blister for Arrieta, he'll be good to go on April 4th in Anaheim. Well, a couple nights ago, the Cubs and Giants played a 4-hour-plus game in Scottsdale. The Cubs won the game 16-14. And it was Arrieta and Bumgarner. Lackey's first pitch is a strike call.
Did you say that by way of making a prediction?
Not at all. I'm just referencing the last time they met.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. Even in the regular season, we got two aces going. You're expecting a low-run game, and all of a sudden things blow up.
So that was a battle of number 1 starters. Today, a matchup of number 3 starters.
With 165 major league wins to his credit, against 127 losses, a lifetime ERA of 3.92.
He has talked about, just about in every facet, he feels like he's a better pitcher now than at any time in his career. And the numbers last year, as you referenced in the open, would seem to back that up.
Yeah, that's the key, right? To last a long time at this level, one, you have to stay healthy. And he's had some injury problems, but he's been able to bounce back from them. So you gain all this valuable experience and wisdom along the way, and the hope is that you still have enough stuff where you can utilize all that wisdom. What happens to many pitchers is you figure out a lot of things along the way, but by the time you got it all figured out, you've kind of run out of gas.
This will get out of play. Pagan will play a lot of left. You've got a new center fielder, Denard Span. And a line drive the other way. It's a leadoff single.
Well, this is kind of emblematic of the Giants offense. They're a high average hitting team. They led the National League in batting average last year. And year in and year out, it seems like the Rockies, because of Coors Field, leading that department. But indeed, it was the Giants last year with a 267 batting average. They don't hit a ton of home runs, but use the whole field, a lot of doubles, pretty good team speed.
Pagan runs, pitches a strike. The throw is late. Montero really had no shot.
Well, Huey Lewis has got this team running today. Pushing all the buttons down there.
That's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty quick.
That's pretty quick. Is it? See, he stole the base. 130 and below is good. Guys on
just a little bit short. Was not a particularly big lead by Pagan. Speed part of his game. When healthy, he's battled injuries, back problems, been a big issue.
Looks like a neck injury waiting to happen as he went in head first. Panic lines out. So one away, and it'll bring up Matt Duffy. Fun to kind of go around the diamond, these two teams. Catcher and the infield. Arguably the two best infields in the game, at least in the National League. Cubs with Montero, Rizzo, Zobrist, Russell, Bryant. The Giants, Posey, Belt, Panic, Crawford, and Duffy. Pretty formidable. Low for ball one. Duffy was the Rookie of the Year runner-up to Chris Bryant last year.
He, like Panic, 25 years of age. Duffy, he was thought to be a guy that would be an extra man for the Giants, back up in a lot of different positions. But as they moved away from Pablo Sandoval, gave this kid a chance. He earned the job and did quite well.
That is going to drop for a base hit. Pagan will score. Little lob wedge single by Duffy. 1-0.
He gets jammed by this pitch, a running fastball moving in on his knuckles.
Got him locked in now, Bammer.
Bad luck for Lackey.
Jarrett Parker.
Duffy looked runners there too.
He did. And the Cub, Will Hayes, the first base coach.
You don't think of Duffy as a speedster, but he's capable. He stole 12 bases last year. He was 12 out of 12.
Hunter Pence will be their everyday right fielder. Although I don't think he's going to play every game, even if healthy. Several DL stints last year. Trying to keep him healthy.
And you can't give him the option. You just got to tell him you're not playing today. He's one of those one-speed guys. Stay with it.
Oh, he got it. What a grab. Piece of cake.
He wasn't sure whether to play it on a hop or not, but well done, young man.
Runner goes 0-2, swing and a miss. Ooh, safe on a good throw by Montero. So 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, a better throw this time. It's a slow breaking ball, not the best of pitches, but Montero gets off a pretty good throw. It's right on the bag, but apparently just a little bit late. Very aggressive manager, Huey Lewis.
Now back by Gregor Blanco.
Before they were the News, they were Huey Lewis and the American Express.
That's right, yeah. Kind of a new wave band late 70s, early 80s. Ground ball and a base hit. Here comes Duffy. Gregor Blanco makes it 2-0.
Well, these stolen bases paying off for the Giants here in the top half of the first. Pagan singled, stole a bag, scored on a blooper. Duffy steals second, scores on this solid ground ball base hit up the middle by Blanco. Come on, Brian. Lackey will have today and then one more before his first regular season assignment. This is the start where you typically try to extend it a little bit and then back off next time out.
Now, Connor Gillespie, who actually made his major league debut with the Giants in 08. He's been with the White Sox and the Angels as well. And 1 ball, no strikes. Soler makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. You know what, JD? I got to tell you, I'm just happy to be stuck with you. Here come the Cubs, and we come back. Let's go back in time. Want to do it?
I need a new drug.
Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Dexter Fowler in the leadoff spot. Had a big day against the Giants on Thursday. Russell's going to hit second, probably 7 or 8 in the regular season. Schwarber plays left. Soler is in right for Hayward today. Miguel Montero's had a really good spring at the plate. So is Jamer Candelario over from minor league camp. Kawasaki is going to play second. Jesus Guzman in for Anthony Rizzo, and the pitcher John Lackey batting ninth.
Giants this afternoon set up this way for Huey Lewis and his group. Pagan, Blanco, Parker left center right. Duffy, Adrianza, Panik, Gillespie at first. Trevor Brown vying to be a backup behind the plate, and Big Jeff Samardzija toes the slab for the Giants here this afternoon.
Former Notre Damer, former Cub, 6'5", 225. Hit free agency, signed a 5-year, $90 million contract. And he'll slot in behind Madison Bumgarner and Johnny Cueto.
Jeff coming off a really rugged year. Really got off to a bad start with the White Sox last year. Ended up pitching to a 4.96 ERA. Strikeout rate was down significantly, as was the ground ball rate. He was much more of a fly ball pitcher last year. Finished with a 11-13 record.
It's a ground ball here as Panik will get Fowler.
But I guess if you're a fantasy player, I assume that Jeff would put up a lot better numbers moving to the National League and moving into that big ballpark that they have in San Francisco as opposed to U.S. Cellular.
So it might be a good later round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their rotation has put up some pretty bad numbers here in spring training. It might not mean anything. As Russell takes ball one, these two guys were involved in a trade for one another a couple years ago. Cubs and the A's. Bounce to short, backhanded by Adrianza, and he makes the play.
Samardzija, 2014 and 15 with Oakland and the White Sox, compiling a 16-19 record in 48 starts, a 4.34 ERA. Addison Russell just getting started in his career. Flashed tremendous defense, occasional power. Ultimately going to be a guy you can count on to hit 20 home runs in a season.
Schwarber way up in the air to center. It's Blanco, and Samardzija makes quick work in the first inning. Giants 2, Cubs nothing. But if you include the other type of fan, maybe.
Fans with fans.
Second inning, sinker from Lackey is low. Going to miss on that pitch. That's sort of miss. Trevor Brown. That one is in there.
And that's Lackey last year through strike one. More than anybody in the game except for Max Scherzer. It's kind of the key to his success. Get the jump on the hitters and expand the zone. Also the ability to throw all of his pitches in any count. He doesn't throw a changeup very often, but fastball,
You're battling. Come on,
slider, and curveball. Big weapons for him. Looks like he wants to go inside.
Hit the target, but didn't get the call. And Nick Marley, home plate umpire.
We talked about if you want to miss when you go down and away, miss down and away. Same thing when you're going in. You don't want to let that one leak out over the plate.
Similar location that time. Full count, 3-2.
Here comes that radar going.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
A couple of bounces to Candelario. He's smooth over there. Got our fan can coming up a little later. Send your selfies on Twitter to hashtag WGN Cubs. And yes, we had the Giants bench coach today in a Cub uniform earlier.
He took a little BP with the Cubs before the game.
Inside on switch hitting A-Ray Adrianza.
A-Ray has spent a little time in the gym. Put on some muscle in the offseason.
I will let it go.
It's paid off so far this spring as he battles for a backup spot on this club.
So Marja on deck. Most of the National League teams we've seen here the last week or so have used the pitcher in the lineup. It's a very loose thing here in spring training. Soler on the move along with Fowler, and it'll be Soler to make the catch. It was a few years ago when Kirk Gibson was managing the Diamondbacks. Dusty Baker was managing the Reds.
Sounds right.
Did they have a little dispute about whether the pitcher would hit or the DH?
Yes.
Which made everybody kind of laugh because it kind of felt like does it really matter? But somebody, I'm not sure which, wanted to make sure both teams had the same rules.
I could be wrong, but I'm guessing Gibby. Right? It seems like he's pretty intense. Jeff does not get cheated.
He does not. And that's it. So Lackey goes 1-2-3 in the second. 2-zip Giants.
Don't forget to check out Len and JD's baseball blog at WGNTV.com. Blog is sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 38 years. To join the nation, contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Sprawled out there on the lawn, kicking back, soaking in some rays, some beverage, lively conversation. And maybe if they're lucky, a home run ball off the bat of Jorge Soler.
He has hit 3 of them so far, although he's batting just 158 on the spring. Getting the over breaking ball from Samardzija for a strike.
With Jeff, it's a plus fastball. He'll sit, 94, 95 miles an hour. There's a cutter, a slider, and a split finger pitch. Ooh. Good slider there.
Samardzija debuted like in 2008 in the Cubs bullpen. Became a full-time starter in 2012. That was Theo Epstein's first year at the helm of the Cubs baseball operations department. And I recall the story that Jeff walked into his office and said, "I want to start. Let me start." Diving stop. Duffy, and he gets Soler.
That's why they call him the guru. We worked with him yesterday morning. Right. It was this morning. It was this morning? Yeah. No.
Makes you proud. Jeff, lifetime 47 and 61 with a 4.09 as a Cub, 31 and 42 with a 3.97 ERA. Really good that year prior to the trade. He had a devil of a time winning games. Had a very low ERA.
Montero takes a strike on the outside.
Now with the Cubs in 2014, Jeff was 2-7 through 17 starts prior to being traded and had a 283 earned run average.
Yeah, that was a year he just couldn't buy a win. As good as he was. And fouled out of play. A fastball at 93. Bruce Bochy possibly looking at 2016 as a special year, right? 2010, 2012, 2014. The even years have been good to the Giants here lately. 3 World Series championships.
I think their slogan this year is "Let's get even."
Perfect. Bochy is the winningest active manager. And this is his 21st consecutive year as a big league skipper. Padres and Giants. When you hire Bruce Bochy, you might just get settled in and know he'll probably be here a decade or so or more. I guess if there's an adjective to describe Bruce Bochy, steady.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, very different. Every now and then he gets riled up, but usually just the demeanor is very calm. There's no panic at all.
Except at second.
Yeah, except for second.
With a K right on cue. Panic makes the play.
Was there, Joe? Was pretty good there.
Players love playing for him. He's won a couple of Manager of the Year awards. The guy in the other dugout has won 3. That guy.
Jeimer Candelario will start the year in the minor leagues, but really has impressed his manager. And a high fly ball, pretty deep, but Blanco has a beat on it. And he's got it, and the inning is over. Samardzija has been very sharp here early on. 6 up, 6 down. 2-0 San Francisco. here in Mesa. Final few games here in Arizona before heading off to Las Vegas to play the Mets.
Well, practice in the cactus.
We will have Friday's game on 3 o'clock Central. 1-1 on Pagan. Single to start the game. Stole a base, scored a run, and the Duffy single.
Is that Jeff Spicoli? Lackey making sure he does his work inside against Pagan this time. Last time Pagan took a pitch to left field on him.
He was a rookie in winning Game 7 for the Angels. 2002 World Series. First rookie to do that. Win a Game 7 since Babe Adams in 1909. He won Game 6 2013 for the Red Sox. So he's been the winning pitcher in a couple of World Series clinchers. Swing and a miss, or strike 3.
Off-speed pitch, maybe backdoor slider. See, Pagan, he'd done enough work inside where Pagan was looking in there. You see how he really opens up that front hip. He's trying to cheat to get to an inside fastball, and Lackey crossed him up by going backdoor breaker. The art of pitching.
Anik takes a strike. So Lackey signed a big deal with the Red Sox. Had a clause in it that added a minimum wage option should he have a major elbow issue, which he did. He did not pitch in 2012. He did make $15.25 million that year. Well, he ended up getting dealt to the Cardinals, and last year made $507,500. That's a lot of money, but when you're used to making 10, 18, 15, 15, 15, 15.
Yeah, that's tip money out for these guys.
Anik out in the deep left. Schwarber at the wall, and he's got it. Kyle's made some nice strides out there. Had some rough moments in the postseason, but you talk to his coaches. His outfield coach, Dave Martinez, Mike Borzello, handles him behind the plate, and they just love his aptitude.
Yeah, that's the thing about Schwarber. He's a good athlete. He's got that, the kind of the burly body. People don't realize what a good athlete he is. He moves around pretty well. And Davey Martinez talking with us the other day, I think he said it best. He said, Kyle's ability out there, his reputation was kind of earned by a couple of misplays in the postseason. He said up until that point, he was just fine out there, and they feel like he's going to be just fine out there this year. What you're always afraid of in a situation like that with any player, especially a young player, when you make a couple physical mistakes like that, especially in the bright lights of the postseason, does he become tentative, afraid to go, make plays? It's not in his nature.
Another ball well struck. Fowler this time the leap, and he can't get it. It's a home run. Matt Duffy with his second of the spring.
Lackey had retired 6 in a row before Duffy jumped on that one. That center cut right there, right out over the heart of the plate, mid-thigh.
.34th homer for the Giants this spring. They've hit a bunch. Parker made his debut last year at .347, 6 homers in just 54 plate appearances.
A 3-in-1 game. First Giant rookie ever to do that.
He's 27. He was a second-round pick back in 2010.
Three-home run a game against the A's. He drove in 7 in that ball game late last year.
Broken bat pop up on the infield. Kawasaki, 2 hands on it, and that's it. Duffy with a home run, and it's now 3-0 Giants in the third. Hey, Cub fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Munenori Kawasaki makes a sinker outside for ball 1. At the moment, there doesn't appear to be a spot for him on the opening day roster. It has nothing to do with what he's done here. He's hitting .400 on the spring with terrific defense. Now, Javier Baez, remember that head first slide last week? He's been day to day with a jammed thumb. The Cubs don't believe that it's very serious. If that were to linger, that could change things. We're still over a week away from starting the season. And actually, JD, I think Joe has been more open and honest about what the roster will probably look like than most managers would be at this time of year. A lot of times you you wait because you might have an injury, but I think Joe understands that everybody realizes that. If
Right,
there's
right,
not
yeah,
an injury,
yeah.
this is probably
This is what our club looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, in a perfect world, right? That's what every manager would want, to come to spring training where there are no position battles. You know exactly what your 25-man roster is going to look like. Your non-roster invitees come in, guys that can provide organizational depth.
Iwasaki grounds out to start the third. Samardzija has got 5 ground ball outs, a couple in the air. Former Giant Jesus Guzman.
Giants last year finished 7th in the National League in earned run average, as did their starters. 3.95 starters ERA. Addition of Samardzija and Cueto, they hope to improve on that. It's weird seeing this Giants club without Tim Lincecum. He's still unsigned. He had hip surgery. He was supposed to have a showcase earlier this spring, but he's yet to do it.
2-0.
I don't know if it doesn't feel like he's healthy enough yet at his peak, or who knows, maybe he's contemplating taking it to the ranch. He had a heck of a career.
Yeah, I think you go back a few years and you think about excellent pitching, kind of carrying the really good Giants clubs, but they're going to score some runs, and if their pitching holds up, that's where they become an elite team.
They've kind of morphed into a team where you think of more in terms of the bats than the arms. As I mentioned earlier, they led the National League in batting average last year, 1st in on-base percentage, 5th in slugging, 5th in runs scored. Bernard Span will take over as the everyday center fielder. He should help ignite things if he stays healthy. He's had some health issues the last couple seasons.
Full count. Lackey on deck. Ryan Sabian, their longtime general manager. His title is now Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations. Bobby Evans, their Senior VP and General Manager. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First punch out for Samardzija. I don't think the Giants have gotten enough credit for their farm system over the years either. Put a lot of impressive guys in the big leagues from their system.
Cub fans, let's go. Following the postseason run and an impressive offseason, there's tremendous excitement leading up to the home opener. Show your support of Cubs baseball from the beginning. April and May offer fans the best availability to get the seats you want. Here's a strike 1. Get your tickets now at Cubs.com. Giants, their 40-man roster, 67% homegrown, by far the highest in baseball.
Come on, Connor.
Lackey pops it up. Gillespie, the first baseman, had a glove on it, and he could not haul it in.
Not wearing any eye protection. That's a real challenge in this environment. It's a very bright sky overhead. No shades, no eye black.
He bounces to short. Andrianza probably could have taken 8 crow hops and still thrown him out. 9 up, 9 down for Samardzija. 3-0 San Francisco.
Welcome back. We head here to the fourth. Giants lead 3-zip. MLB.TV Premium. Everything you've come to expect and so much more. New low price for 2016. Watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. That's just incredible. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Giants lead 3-0. They'll bat here in the fourth. Gregor Blanco to start it.
Blanco threat to bunt, so Candelario in a little bit. Candelario, excuse me. Now he's moving back off the line. Thought about it.
He pushes him off the plate. Speculation is the Angels will have Garrett Richards and then Andrew Heaney, righty lefty, on the mound for the first 2 games of the season against the Cubs. As it stands now, Arrieta and Lester
have to start grinding away on the Angels. I don't know much about that club.
Up the middle, Russell will get Blanco.
Chuck Finley still with them?
Not an active member, no.
Got that Pujols fellow over there.
Yeah, he's coming back from the foot issue.
Mr. Trout. Big on fish over there. They had Tim Salmon for a long time. Now they got Mike Trout.
Kawasaki throws out Gillespie.
Let's take a look at our forward upcoming schedule. Cubs at Angels, April 4 and 5. Day off, then 4 with the D-backs. Then the home opener, April 11th, with the Reds. Brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or localfordstores.com.
April 11th, that's a night game to open Wrigley Field right here on WGN. Against the Cincinnati Reds. Broadcast coverage starts at 6:30. Next year is here.
Come early.
Metal detectors now at all the gates at Wrigley. It'll take a little extra time to get into the ballpark, so be prepared. Called strike 3, got the low call. In his second 1-2-3 frame, they're trailing 3-0. John Lackey on the mound for the home team, and we'll be with you next on WGN this Friday. Day game, Cubs and the Mets. Matchup of last year's NLCS. Mets will actually open the season in Kansas City. So this is a day game after a night game from Las Vegas. We're going to be all right?
The Friday game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That'll be easy. It's early in the year.
Famous last words. 1-0 on Fowler. Other than getting people out, what is Samardzija doing that's impressing you?
Well, yeah, this is, he's back to being Samardzija in that he's getting a lot of outs on the ground. Last year, that wasn't the case. He was missed up in the zone a lot last year, gave up plenty of home run balls. And that's been an issue for him this spring, too. He's allowed 5 home runs in his last 2 starts down here. So you were talking earlier about the performance of these Giant starters and how none of them really are throwing the ball all that well. And what's the level of concern if you're Bruce Bochy? Well, probably not real high, but I think, with Jeff coming off the bad year that he had, you'd like to see him dial it up a notch. So obviously they have to be very pleased with what they're seeing here today. At times when the Cubs had him, it looked like Jeff was just trying to overpower the ball. We saw it here with the 3-2 breaking ball he threw to Guzman to get the strikeout. I mean, it's all about pitchability.
Well, when you get to be his age, and he's been pretty durable, but the stuff probably is not going to get any better, right? So you got to be a better pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So he was a big arm, had success in the bullpen, lobbied to make the move to the rotation, had success as a starting pitcher, but it's been kind of an up and down path for him as a starting pitcher. At times dominant, other times he has scuffled, and the stuff has always been there.
He gets Fowler for his 2nd strikeout.
Time he just beats him with velocity.
Took out. That is something we saw a few times last year with Russell, and fortunately I think everybody is okay.
Somebody was down that runway having a cup of coffee. I think at Jeff, at times Jeff has maybe been a little bit guilty of, as I mentioned earlier, trying to overpower hitters when maybe a little splitty or slider would be a better option. He's super competitive, and I think sometimes when he starts to get hit, he just reaches back for a little bit more, and location suffers.
Was a good breaking ball.
Yeah, that slider has looked very sharp here today. The Cubs had him. If you were to grade out his pitches, plus velocity, splitter could be really good. The slider was probably the most inconsistent pitch for him. Has been really good here today.
Well, I don't want to speak for Jeff, but I haven't asked him this. I would assume he would be pretty happy with the decision he made to stick with baseball as opposed to being a National Football League wide receiver as he strikes out Russell.
Yeah, that lifespan can be kind of short, and you never know what you're in for at the end of it. as you know all too well now with all the concussion issues. Nice to have options. Nice to be that gifted, right? Play at such an elite level in 2 different sports.
Schwarber flied to center his first time. Giants overshift to the pull side on the infield. Ball 1.
His first pitch splitter there from Jeff.
Fastball clocked at 95 with good location. They had 1-2.
Set up hard in if he wants it. I think that's where they're going to try to go. Didn't get it there.
When the Giants signed him and Johnny Cueto, Brandon Crawford's first comment was, "We just acquired a good amount of hair."
Well, they got to replace Lincecum's hair.
Although didn't he cut his
He did,
short?
yeah.
Line, and it gets in. So the Cubs have their first base runner. 2-out single from Schwarber.
Just keep the line moving with so many dangerous bats in the lineup. Rally could spring up out of nowhere. Here's a solid single for Schwarber. Hey, belated happy birthday to Matt Hughes, big Cub fan. Turned 37 years of age earlier this month. Always good to hear from Matt.
We usually see Matt on the road once a year too.
Yeah, checks in with us usually in Washington.
You had a good one, Matt. Chop foul. 2 strikes on Soler.
Chicken salad. Chopped foul. Soler with 3 long balls this spring, but not hitting for average. A .158. Had some adventures in the outfield. So much potential.
Adrianza tells Pagan, "I got it," and he's got it. Still 3-0 Giants, the 5th. Gorgeous day here in Arizona. Sellout crowd. Giants, Cubs. Brianza takes a strike. Might see the Giants bat the pitcher 8th, at least on occasion. Something Bruce Bochy has considered. Some other managers have as well. Something Joe Madden did last year, but I'm not so sure he's going to do it this year. In fact, I would bet against it at the moment. Doesn't really feel Addison Russell needs that protection. And this one gets away from Montero, but he's got time to get at Brianza.
Folks, on Monday, April 11th, that's the home opener. The Cubs take on the Reds. First pitch will be at 7:05. Come early, and if you're one of the first 30,000 fans at the ballpark, you'll receive the official Cubs magnet schedule presented by Giordano's. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
We're told Huey Lewis is telling Boch, no, you hit the pitcher 9th, so might be some pretty intense conversations.
Well, he had that 800 SAT score, so he's probably done the math.
He looked at the lineup card today, said, if this is it, please let me know.
No.
You asked for it. Samardzija is out. 2 down.
John Lester really sharp in his outing yesterday. 5 scoreless innings, allowed just a couple of hits.
He just made a better move. I don't think he knows what.
Fifth year with the Giants for Pagan. After 4 with the Mets, debuted originally in the big leagues with the Cubs. Sharply hit grounder right at Kawasaki. And Lackey, a very tidy 5th inning. 3-0 San Francisco. The Cubs will bat here in the 5th inning. Cubs president of baseball operations Theo Epstein has joined us in the booth. Theo, always good to see you. And you couldn't keep Huey Lewis in a Cub uniform. What's up with that?
We were wondering how many of our players knew who Huey Lewis was. I don't know.
I saw Rossi singing along there.
Yeah, Rossi's sweet spot. Everyone else a little too young.
Montero swings at the first pitch and he will bounce out. So we're about a week away from essentially getting the opening day roster set, but it feels pretty close already.
Yeah, guys are going a little stir crazy, getting ready to get out of here. And this last week, you turn it up a notch, a little bit more intensity. The starters staying there a little bit longer, and we have a couple of decisions to make, but by and large, we're ready to get out of here.
Overall, it's been a good camp, right? Injuries haven't been a big issue.
Yeah, knock on wood. Yeah, we've had a few nagging injuries, but nothing major. The types of things that can derail your plans we've avoided, and there's been a good feeling throughout camp. The players really feel connected with one another. They're all here for the right reasons, all working hard, pretty humble, pretty hungry, and ready to go prove that we're good. We haven't done anything yet. They're well aware of that, but they feel like they have a special opportunity to go on this journey together and prove something.
So bench makeup versus bullpen makeup, it's not so much who, it's in some ways about how those two areas might be used. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, and it won't stay the same way the whole year. So I think a little too much is made of the opening day roster. We might start with 8 relievers, but there'll be and we might start with 7. But even if we start with 8, I'm sure we'll have opportunities when guys are healthy and in good rhythm to go with 7 and get that extra bench piece, which can be really effective.
Unique bullpen with all these guys who can start.
Yeah, and we'll see how it plays out. It looks great on paper with the ability to keep guys stretched out and have your spot starters there and ready. But the reality of the season is that guys will get shortened up quite a bit, and if your starters go deep in games, and we'll have to be creative and find ways to keep our guys stretched out. But everyone's conscious of it going into the year, and I look forward to seeing how that plays out.
Saki, 1 ball, no strikes. It feels to me, just conversations JD and I have on the air, the non-inane ones, tend to be
there's a rare occasion that
and maybe let me know when those are going to happen.
Okay, well, bullpen. The idea of what your bullpen looks like, what teams have done in terms of the money they spend on bullpens, that seems to just kind of be a nebulous thing that changes a lot, and no one can really get their hands around what actually works. Do you find that over the years as general manager, now president, that's a tricky one to put your arms around?
Yeah, it's always tricky just because it's so unpredictable, and individual performance and therefore collective bullpen performance tends to vary year to year so much because it's such boy.
Well, what a spring he's had.
Puts a ball in the gap.
It'll be a double for Kawasaki.
So you're always looking for ways to guarantee good performance in the pen, and that's just hard because you're dealing with small sample sizes, you're dealing with failed starters, you're dealing with guys with maybe 2 pitches in their arsenal, and one thing goes wrong with the grip, or it takes a while to get a feel for a certain pitch, or one really bad outing can really submarine a whole season. So I don't believe in spending a ton of resources in the pen because of that, because I think you can find really effective relievers without committing longer term deals and huge guaranteed dollars, but there's definitely a place for it. And recently in the postseason, some of the teams that have had the most success are the teams with the dominant bullpen, so it's definitely another way to do it. But there's no doubt that there's a better way to execute, to cover all the innings that we have than the sort of stereotypical roles with the 5 starters and let them go 6 no matter what, and then you turn it over to predetermined roles in the bullpen. But I don't think there is any one magic formula. It just depends on your personnel. With us, with the guys who can go multiple innings and some of the different looks we have, we think we have a chance to have another good pen this year. And we did it last year without a lot of household names. And by the end of the season, our pen was a real strength of the club.
Your closer was a Rule 5 pick.
Closer was a Rule 5 pick. Our setup guy Strope was throwing in the deal in which we got Arrieta. Grimm was the 3rd or 4th player in the Garza deal. Cahill was released at a Double-A by the Dodgers halfway through the season last year. We signed him. He had time for 4 outings in Triple-A before he came up, and then ended up pitching some of the most impressive innings we saw in the postseason. So Clayton Richard we bought for $1 from Pittsburgh off their Triple-A club. So relievers can't come from everywhere. But I'll tell you what, if you wake up in the middle of June some year and you know everyone's struggling out of your pen, you'd give an awful lot of resources to fix that in a hurry. So it's a delicate balancing act.
Nice to have big arms, because a couple of years ago it seemed like the Cubs pen was just in terms of average velocity, it was near the bottom of the league, and now you got all these power arms.
Yeah, the velocity is not everything, but it gives you a much bigger margin for error, which is nice out of the bullpen.
1-2 on Guzman. 3-0 Giants. It was great to chat with Theo. A little more relaxed maybe in the 5th inning of a spring training game than you might be in April.
Not as wrapped up in the outcome, that is for sure.
But yeah, how regular season, pretty chill watching games?
No.
I mean, I know some GMs have been known to throw some staplers across the room and flip some things.
My mentor coming up in baseball was Kevin Towers, and his nickname was 9 innings of pain, because that's what it was to watch a game with him. He'd be complaining about guys, in the 3rd or 4th inning, and I'd tap him on the shoulder and say, well, why'd you give him a 3-year contract then? It can get stressful in there, especially when things aren't going well, or we have breakdowns, and it's just you feel responsible. Every time something doesn't go right on the field, or we let our fans down, we're not playing our best, we feel responsible, more so than we feel ownership of the wins, or when things go well. Obviously that's the players and Joe and everyone in uniform, but you just want things to go well, and there's a certain helplessness not being involved and just watching that can lead to some stress. But this is my 25th year in baseball, so I've adapted a little bit. I got a feel for the rhythms of the game and some perspective, and don't go too haywire unless it's well deserved.
Full count on Guzman. And we will do it again.
I would think, so when the game ends, there's always a cooling off period before the press is allowed in to talk to the players and the manager. I would think for the front office too, there'd be times like you might, man, why did we do that? And so you kind of want to step back, so you don't have that knee-jerk reaction and that potential confrontation.
I remember in 2004 when we traded Nomar Garciaparra to the Cubs, and we got back Orlando Cabrera and Doug Minkiewicz. It wasn't a popular deal at the time, and attaboy.
Cubs will get on the board. Back-to-back 2-out doubles.
He can roll out of bad hitting, especially against left-handers. Here he had a good swing, right-handed breaking ball, but he's a natural hitter. So we made that trade, and it was a lonely feeling at the time making the trade. I had a hard time sleeping that night, and then we didn't play well for about 10 days after that, and I think we went 5-8 or something over the first 2 weeks, and Orlando Cabrera made a big error to cost us the game one time, and it was I tell you what, there's a pretty big burden on that, and you kind of rush to judgment on yourself, and you're self-critical, and then we turned it around and went something like 45-11 down the stretch and into the playoffs that year. So you got to give trades time to breathe, and as long as the process is good and the reasoning is sound, they don't all work out, but you have to stick with the process and let it play out over time to get some perspective.
And the 0-1 misses. Well, look, you didn't want to give up Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill, but look at how it played out, and you had the long view there. And you knew fans would be upset. Why are you trading 2 of your best pitchers? But sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. Yeah,
but I give our fans a ton of credit. I mean, look what we asked them to put up with. We traded 40% of our starting rotation 3 consecutive years at the deadline. And that's not an easy thing to tolerate, and they were great about it.
Well, we're looking forward to a fun 2016. Theo, thanks for stopping by. We always appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
The 11th annual Race to Wrigley charity run presented by ATI Physical Therapy, Saturday, April 23rd. Right there at beautiful Wrigley Field. The 5K course runs through the streets of the Lakeview neighborhood and concludes at Wrigley Field. Cubs Charities will donate proceeds to support critical care needs for pediatric patients in Chicago through Advocate Children's Hospital. Sign up at racetowrigley.com.
Cubs with a run off Samardzija, so it's 3-1 as we play the 6th. Thanks to Theo Epstein for dropping by. I feel like we always learn something when we talk with him. Yeah, the bullpen thing is really fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, and he mentioned the small sample, so it's hard to get a read from one year to the next. If a guy's only pitching 50 innings, 1 or 2 bad outings can really inflate an ERA. So you're not sure what you're going to get the next year. And I think that's why there's been this emphasis, this movement towards stuff. Most bullpens we see now, it's a parade of guys throwing 95 plus miles per hour.
Held off by Panic. Well, I mean, if you look at the Cubs postseason last year, and they're going to do their best to protect their starting pitchers, but you're going to get some 3, 4, 5 inning starts. So that bullpen becomes critical in those moments, especially the middle of your bullpen. Clayton Richard, he struggled yesterday, but he's going to work back-to-back games.
And a guy can come in, give you multiple innings and keep you in a game. A game you fall down earlier, 4-1 as you get into the middle innings. And so many times with the front of the bullpen, if you don't have enough depth, all of a sudden that 4-1 game turns into a 7-1 game, and you're thinking about tomorrow.
Panic with a leadoff single that'll bring up Duffy. A big day, 2 for 2 with this home run.
It's not a big part of his game. He had 12 home runs last year. Talk so much about the bloop and the blast. He's got them both today. A little flare to right, and then the long ball.
Runner goes, and a perfectly executed hit and run. Duffy will send Panic to third. He's 3 for 3. That's how you draw it up.
Watch him get that front foot down early, keep his hands inside the ball, and shoot it the other way with authority.
Pretty sure the plan was that Richard would enter this game at some point here in the 6th. As it is, it'll be with runners at first and third and nobody out. So John Lackey's outing is over. It's 3-1 Giants, and we'll be back.
Cubs want to hear from kids ages 7 to 13 in the Chicago area. Tell us why fitness is important and how it is part of your daily life. Submit your entries at CubsOnTheMoveChallenge.com. That's CubsOnTheMoveChallenge.com. Do it before April 4th for your chance to work out with Cub players.
Now Clayton Richard had a rough go yesterday as the Brewers, trailing 4-0, scored 5 times in the 9th inning to win the game. The relievers now getting a look in back-to-back days. Parker fouls. 1 ball, 1 strike. First and third, nobody out.
And Rondon and Strope are on the list for today as well. And they would be working on back-to-back days for the first time this spring. First order of business, though, Clayton Richard trying to clean up this mess here with Giants. Men on first and third, nobody out. He's a ground ball specialist. That would work.
No pitch. Time called. No replay review here. The Cubs may have turned a double play yesterday in that game that would have staved off that big comeback.
Yeah, he was victimized by the BABIP gods yesterday, right? We talk a lot about BABIP, batting average on balls in play. An interesting number to look at, and a guy like Clayton Richard does not strike out a lot of hitters.
That's the other thing about velocity in your bullpen. To miss as many bats as you can in those big spots.
Clayton, it's interesting. We'll see how Joe uses him this year. Last year, he made a handful of starts, pitched out of the bullpen. Really good down the stretch, was good in the postseason. He's the kind of guy you like to bring in a situation like this because of all the ground balls he gets. He gets you double play ball and clean things up.
Run will score, and everybody's safe. Candelario just took a little too much time. 4-1.
There you go. Ball in play. Bad luck for Richard. A little more urgency there was needed.
Still nobody out. First pitch strike on Blanco. Giants, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. That seems to be a consensus that those 3 teams will compete in the West. Knocked down by Richard, and he will not have a play, even though he throws to first. Hopefully he's all right. Bases loaded. What was that about BABIP gods?
Yeah, he's taking a big bite out of him right here this afternoon. It's another ground ball. This time it's right back at him. Well, actually, that ball's hit on a line. It was sharply struck. No play to be made. Bases are loaded. Yeah, Diamondbacks, so they might be peaking too early. They're like 20-4 here this spring.
Dodgers dealing with injuries. This is Mac Williamson.
Come on, Mac.
Ball one, drawn in infield. From Richard is off the outside.
Big dude, Mac Williams, 6'5", 240. Third round pick of the Giants in 2012.
Broken bat fly ball, not terribly deep. This should get the run in. Let's see where Fowler throws it. Toward the middle of the diamond. Duffy's in, sac fly. 5-1. Everybody else holding.
Hey, Ronnie.
Richard beat out Jeff Samardzija for Mr. Football in Indiana, 2002. Couple of great two-way stars, two sports stars from the state of Indiana. Richard from Lafayette. Briefly the backup quarterback at Michigan.
He was Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball. He was also the class valedictorian. Good grief.
Candelario to Kawasaki, and they cannot go around the horn. So 2 outs in the inning.
Guzman tried to steal it here at first base a little bit, but he appeared to be safe there at first. He was. So 5 runs charged to John Lackey this afternoon. It didn't feel like a 5-run outing, but the numbers will tell you. Right around 75 pitches, one more. I guess that'll take place in Vegas for his first regular season start.
Richard will field, and the inning is over. Giants add 2 to their lead. It's 5-1 in the 6th. Jeff Samardzija will be in his final inning of work. He retired the first 11 he faced.
Williamson has stayed in the ball game, the big fellow to play right field, and Brandon Bednar is now the first baseman for the Giants.
All one on Fowler. He was grounded out and he struck out swinging in the fourth.
A little frustrated, thought he had a pitch to do something with there, and fouled it back.
We saw the Brewers yesterday. We mentioned that the closing duties, at least the plan, was to split it between Jeremy Jeffress, a right-hander, and Will Smith, a left-hander. Smith with a knee injury. He tore a ligament in his right knee while taking off his shoes after a game.
That's funky, isn't it?
Yes, he was about to get in the shower, pitched in a minor league game. He was standing on one leg to take off the other shoe, and then lost his balance.
Oh, no.
I mean, we've all fallen down trying to put our pants on, right? When you're standing on one leg and you By State Farm. Combine your car and home insurance with State Farm and save. Find an agent at statefarm.com. No sense in flipping. Strope will take over.
Get his numbers from last year. He was a busy guy. Worked 76 times. Opposing hitters batted a measly 167 against him. Posted a 291 earned run average. Worked a scoreless inning with a strikeout in the ball game yesterday.
Ryan Lawless will pinch hit for Samardzija. Were you a Larry Sanders fan?
I was, yeah.
No flipping. Gary Shandling passed away earlier this week. Very sad news.
66 years of age.
1-1 the count. 7th inning, 5-2 Giants.
Good breaking ball. That's a very effective slider. Ryan Lawless, pronounced Lawless like Tom Lawless. You may remember him, former big leaguer, but this is Lollis. Good depth on that off-speed slide ball.
Maybe describing an Old West villain. Lawless.
Dodge City, I think, was Lawless. Or maybe it was Tombstone. One of those towns was Lawless.
It's Tommy La Stella now playing second.
Show you bleed Cubby Blue by becoming a member of the Cubs Club, the official fan club of the Chicago Cubs. Members will enjoy game day audio and other perks throughout the 2016 season. Now is the perfect time to join, rejoin, or give a fellow Cubs fan the gift of a Cubs Club membership. To enroll today, visit Cubs.com/club.
Guessing Pagan will hit lower in their lineup with Denard Span likely to grab that leadoff spot. Kawasaki has moved to short, and then he retires Pagan. 2 down now. Joe Panic.
Always a little discussion after the play. Munenori. Like the way he comes and gets that ball, though. Just nice steady flow through the ball.
$15,403 the paid crowd today. The Cubs averaging 14,977 through their first 11 home dates. I think this one might push them over 15 for the average, which is remarkable.
Ronnie. Run.
I mean, at the end of your playing days, if I told you, 20 years somebody's going to average 15,000 for spring training,
no
you'd say,
chance.
no way. You'd average 5 or 6. You'd have been thrilled. Nice job, Pedro Strop. Stretch time. Cubs down 3. It's Bandcamp.
Sunset Strip is something everyone should see. Neon lights and the pretty, pretty girls all dress so scantily. When they play their music, that hard rock music, they like it with a lot of flash. But it's still that same old backbeat rhythm that really, really kicks them in the. They say the hard rock and roll is still beating, and from what I've seen, I believe. Now the old one may be there to greet him, but the hard rock and roll still beating.
Got to feature some Huey Lewis in the news today. Jeff Samardzija and his battery mate Trevor Brown done for the day. Samardzija, the pitcher of record for the visitors. Left-hander Braulio Lara is now pitching for the Giants. Miguel Montero leading off. Cubs down 3. Up and in. Ball 1. George Kataris is now catching. Kelby Tomlinson's at second. Zach Williamson is in left.
I quit. One more keeping in the score sheet.
Hey, we've got Blackhawks hockey here on WGN tonight from Calgary, and Eddie O is watching us.
Hi, Eddie O.
That's dedication as a Cub fan.
Yeah.
Up in Alberta.
Hawks need to get it going.
Yes, they do. It'll be a big win tonight. Calgary is directly north of where we sit. It's a pretty long drive, but it is due north.
If you just got on Scottsdale Road and never stopped, you'd end up, look out, you'd end up in Calgary.
Look at that play. 3-4-1. Wow.
Oh, it's a bit of good fortune. First of all, he almost got lipped. Bare hands it to bare hand. Pitcher covering.
He should have barehanded it.
Yeah, if he had any sense of theater at all. It's only an exhibition game.
Dolario batting on the right side against the lefty Lara. Glad Luke Scott went to bat. He'd have a Luke and Lara matchup for all you General Hospital fans.
Let's make it happen. Lara's theme. Ooh, good hook there. Candelario has been impressive this spring. Switch hitter with juice. Ball jumps off his bat.
Hitters count, it's 3-1.
You know, they have a big stampede up there in Calgary.
Yeah. Diving stop, Duffy. And at first, Bednar could not handle it.
These guys are showing off now. That ball was really well struck by Candelario. Pretty play by Duffy, and Bednar couldn't bail him out on the other end. Hard baked infield, the ball really jumps. Should have caught it.
Scores conundrum. It's a diving stop, but once he made that play.
Yeah. Well, I think the ball should have been caught in the air by the first baseman.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's an E3.
I could say hit just because it's a tough play for the third baseman to make, but once he made it, you're right, he should have been out. I think, well, they haven't scored it yet. You'd go E3.
I would go E3.
Okay. They gave him a hit. See this, I mean, if you put me in charge of scoring changes and stuff, I would allow a scorer to do both.
Reward the hitter and charge an error as well.
Yep.
Interesting.
Now you get into earned runs. I might just get rid of earned runs. Just say it's runs.
Well,
whether they're errors or not.
If you were going to stick with earned runs, that base runner would not be charged against the pitcher.
There you go. You could say it's
for his average, it would count as a hit. So this is the time we live in where we want everybody to be happy. You know, so everybody gets a little piece of something good there.
Although if you're the first baseman, you wouldn't appreciate it.
No.
We're stuck on this team error concept, which would, to me, be very simple to add. That would be the pop-up that isn't caught. Two guys look at each other, and it ends up being a double. And the play where you feel like you have to give an error to one guy. How about the catcher throws to second, right on the bag, and the two middle infielders are staring at each other. Catcher gets the error. It's not his error. It should be a team error.
Or how about the throw in from the outfield that one hops the catcher and is mishandled, and the outfielder gets charged with an error.
Kelby Tomlinson makes the play, just into play second.
Cubs destinations travel packages include tickets, hotel accommodations, ballpark tours, Cubs swag, and a private meet and greet with a current player. This season's destinations include stops in Pittsburgh and Chicago. For more information, visit Cubs.com/travel.
That'll be it for Laura. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Time for a pitching change. Giants 5, Cubs 2. Right-hander, like the starter. He has long hair.
He used to be a Brave. You may remember him a little bit back in 2011, 12, and 13. Up and down between AAA and the big leagues. Pitched, as you saw, just 7 times with the Giants last year. Not pitching the big leagues in 2014. Assuming injury. Look out.
Here's your Lexus Run Predictor, brought to you by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. And getting that guy in, second, 2 outs. Cubs were just below league average. Slider backed up a bit. 2-1.
Elbow injury on the horizon with that drop down delivery. Worked underneath that ball a little bit.
One drops in for a strike. It's 2-2.
Guzman was with the Astros last year, 69 games, 184 plate appearances. Hit a .188 with a couple of home runs. First came to the big leagues with the Giants back in 09.
Guerin gets out of the inning. Cubs do not score. Still 5-2. Here is your Honda Games summary. Get amazing deals at the Honda Dream Garage sales event now at your Honda dealer. Matt Duffy's a good one and showed his stuff today, and he's actually coming up again. Already 3 for 3 with a home run. Addison Russell homered off a guy he was once traded for. Jeff Samardzija, who otherwise was very good.
Pedro Strop was very good in the 7th in the 1-2-3 inning, and now Hector Rondon will come on and try to do that here in the top half of the 8th. Rondon working in back-to-back games for the first time this spring. A clean, quick inning yesterday. It's been the case the last couple of times he's gone out there after a couple of spotty ones. He's been rock solid the last couple of trips. Last year, Very nice year. 167 ERA, 30 saves, and 34 tries.
Kyle Schwarber is catching. Started this game and left. Swing and a miss. 1-2. I am not an expert on catching, but what I've seen here these last couple weeks, Kyle looks like he's made strides back there. Threw out a couple of base runners the other day, working with Jason Hamill. That's a new thing, that sticking that leg out to give a little bit of a lower target. It's not for show, it's actually functional.
Yeah, obviously you can't afford to do that with men on base. You got to be ready to come out of that crouch and make a throw. But with nobody on, to wait for a big guy to get low. Let's get small. Tony Pena comes to mind.
Called strike 3. So Rondon gets Duffy.
Well, you see where Kyle sets up. Gives him a good target, and Rondon dots it.
It's our Mattress Firm great 8 stat of the game. Cubs did a good job in the 8th inning. They only allowed 59 runs in the 8th.
Of all Cub innings pitched last year, the 8th inning was their second best, according to that stat.
Brandon Bednar.
Paint. No. All over that outside corner.
The great 8 stat brought to you by Mattress Firm, where we want you to sleep happy, guaranteed. Remember, it's over 8. It's time to replace. Estella will throw him out. 2 down. I don't know if you saw the story. I guess MLB has now banned personalized stickers, logos, decals on bats.
I did not see that story.
Matt Duffy, I guess, had a sticker that said Duff Man. It was on. He put it on the end of the bat, the knob of the bat. She can't do that anymore.
Why not?
I never really noticed.
Copyright infringement or something
like
that.
If they just want to make it uniform.
Yeah, and I guess there's always a chance if you the whole snowball theory, right? The guy puts a little logo on there, next thing you know is you have all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Guys would be selling personal sponsorships to their bats.
Fouled away by Blanco.
Talking about the Dodger injuries earlier, Yasiel Puig has got a hamstring issue. He was scratched today.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. That would be a New York Giants cap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Mets color scheme comes actually from the Dodgers and the Giants, the blue and the orange from way back. Well, that's the thing about this run here for Bruce Bochy's club. These are the first World Series championships since they were in New York. 10, 12, 14. You could really call this, I think, the golden era of San Francisco Giants baseball.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, in those 3 postseasons, they combined to go 34 and 14.
Blanco walks.
Rondon taking a shot at that outside corner. It's a 2-seam fastball, just runs off the edge.
So they got close in 02, but didn't win it. They went the entire Barry Bonds era without winning a World Series title. And you referenced the Angels earlier. I don't know what you could get, and it's not going to happen. This is a completely theoretical conversation. But might the Angels go the Mike Trout career without winning a World Series? And is it worth considering trading arguably the best player in the game today? I don't know what kind of haul somebody would give up for Mike Trout. When you say somebody is untradeable, is that really true?
I don't believe it is. I think there's a market.
What's the Mike Trout?
It's
market?
big. It's big. Yeah, it would be a huge package, right, in return.
He's 24.
24. He's one of the top 2 or 3 players in all of baseball. If you trade a guy like that, you're going to want some frontline pitching in return. It wouldn't be just one. You'd want a couple.
Well, Artie Moreno is not going to do it. The Angels owner, but I do think the Bonds example does tell you that you can have the best player in the game, but it does not guarantee team success.
Not in this sport.
No.
Come back.
Two on Williamson, and he just got a piece of it. Well, there are those who think the Diamondbacks gave up too much to get Shelby Miller. Made that deal with Atlanta. My thing with a trade like that, if the Diamondbacks win the World Series with Shelby Miller, then that conversation doesn't matter. You could say, yeah, we gave up too much, but so what? It's only really germane if they flop.
If you don't accomplish your goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's an example
or
of
if
that.
you find out otherwise, that some other club would have given you a better package.
Right. If you're Brian Sabian, you're never going to regret signing Barry Zito, right?
Yeah, I mean,
not that he was.
Yeah, he didn't perform like they wanted him to for a good chunk of that contract.
But you would not take it back today at all. So Rondon with a scoreless 8th, still 5-2 San Francisco.
Welcome back. 5-2 ball game. There's still time to sign up for the Chicago Cubs baseball summer camps presented by ATI Physical Therapy and Ideal Industries. Young sluggers ages 5 to 13 will suit up in Cubs gear, meet a current Cub player. Well, you'll do that during a VIP Wrigley Field visit and receive top-notch baseball instruction around the Chicagoland area. To enroll your child in the camp experience of a lifetime, visit Cubs.com/kids.
Mike Broadway now pitching for the Giants. It'd be even more fun if they were still the New York Giants, I guess.
According to Baseball Reference, his nickname is Bone Crusher. Ooh. 21 games, a 5.19 ERA last year.
Missing Tommy La Stella. Soft liner to left. Williamson's got it.
Hey, it's getting late. This is the 8th inning. Time to make a little noise. Broadway's 28 years of age. Signed as an 18-year-old with the Braves. A lot of minor league time. 21 games with the Giants last year, the only time he has spent in the big leagues.
Matt Caesar with a base hit. Matt making a push for the opening day roster.
Got on top of that low fastball. Solid single.
Sean Dunston Jr. Get some looks at some of the Cubs prospects. Johnny Dewey's is also in the game in the outfield. (23 years old). Is Senior in the Giants dugout? I haven't seen him.
I was looking for him earlier, did not see him.
Runner goes, pitch in the dirt. Now Sean Senior is an assistant coach and video replay analyst with the Giants. I always love catching up with him. For ball 3. Trying to get it to Schwarber as the potential tying run if Dunston can reach. 3-1. He had an injury plagued 2015 in the Cubs minor league system, held to just 24 games combined. And he walks. That'll be it for Broadway.
You say the light. Oh, never mind.
Fifth Avenue is the new pitcher. It's 5-2 Giants here in the bottom of the 8th. Which current major leaguer has the most World Series rings? That's your answer. He's got 4. Javier Lopez, 1 with the Red Sox, 3 with the Giants.
Fixture in this Giant bullpen now for a good while. His partner in crime out there from the left side, Jeremy Affeldt, retired, but it was for the longest time as Affeldt, Lopez, Romo, Casilla anchoring that bullpen. So, you know, as you get towards the later stages of spring training, managers tend to play it like they would in the regular season, and this is certainly a situation that calls on the lefty specialist.
Our Lexus Run Predictor is brought to you by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. Cubs were good in this spot. 42% of the time they scored at least 1 run last year. One and one on Schwarber.
Just a little bit. Good pitch. That away. Go on, Javi.
2 and 1.
Fuck is it?
The windshield he broke, auctioned off for charity. Went for $900 yesterday. 2 and 2. Good take. It's kind of the quintessential lefty on lefty 2-strike pitch, right? The slider just off the outside. Couldn't get him to bite.
Yeah, now the challenge for Schwarber is to not get too antsy here and try to force Lopez into the strike zone on 3-2. He's been around a long time. Broke in with the Rockies in 2003.
Double play.
Hit well, but it will be caught. And Gorkys Hernandez now playing center.
Okay. Make a note of that.
And that'll be it for Lopez. So
Boch is really grinding here to try to get this W for Huey Lewis.
another break here in the 8th inning. 2 on, 2 down. Afternoon at Sloan Park. On a grass berm seating, the contours of the berm reminiscent of the bleachers at Wrigley.
It's a cool place to hang out.
I would say figuratively, yes. It's probably not very cool
Literally,
today.
yeah, a little toasty.
This is Jake Dunning.
Stunning Jake Dunning, 6'4", $190, 27 years of age. Out of Indiana University. 33rd round pick of the Giants in 2009.
Here's Ryan Dent.
Dunning had 29 games with the Giants back in 2013. One appearance in 2014.
Not on here. I don't know.
One and two the count. Cubs' second round pick from last year, Donnie Dewey's, is on deck. So you've got Dunning to Dent with Dewey's on deck.
Ryan Dent can play all over the infield. He was a first round pick of the Red Sox in 07, 62nd overall, so it must have been a supplemental pick. A bunch of years in the Red Sox organization. Last year split time between Tennessee and Iowa. Career .232 hitter in 9 minor league seasons.
Runners go on the 3-2. Dunning gets Dent, and that's that.
Darn it.
5-2 Giants to the ninth. Five to 2 Giants. They will bat here in the top of the ninth inning. Veteran left-hander Manny Parra has been perfect. He has not allowed a run this spring. 5 appearances, 4 2/3, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 4 hits.
33 years of age, after a number of years with the Brewers, moved over to the Reds for a couple of seasons. Last year, a 3.90 ERA at 40 ball games. 3 seasons with the Reds, 13, 14, and 15.
He's a lefty only. He's not a switch.
George Kataris spent some time with the Cubs a couple of years ago during spring training, and Guzman boots it. So that'll be an error on the Cubs first baseman. Come on, you haven't said it all spring. You let the ball play him.
He let the ball play him. Can't do that.
Gotta drop that cliche in there every once in a while. Adrianza started, and he's still in the game. 0 for 3.
Because of some of the bounces you get here in spring training, you see guys field the ball off to the side a little bit more often than they would during the regular year. And the nature of the infield and the stakes of the competition is more inclined to ole it here than they would during the regular year.
Be a tough play, and it rolls foul. Otherwise, Adrianza's got a hit. Well, if you're Manny Parra, you might look at the depth chart, start to do the math. As he strikes out Adrianza, you kind of know the deal. Probably not a spot on the roster for him, but he does provide some insurance if there's an injury here in this final week.
Yeah, I don't know the nature of his contract. He signed a free agent minor league deal with an invite to camp. And a lot of times veteran guys like Parra will have an out in their contract. If they don't make the club, that they're willing to go to AAA until a certain date, and if they don't get called up, they have an opt-out. He may have a deal like that. I would not be surprised if that were the case.
Yeah, he's a big league pitcher with a track record who's had a good spring. So if you're Parra, you're thinking there is a place for me somewhere in the big leagues. We're now into that musical chairs week. And 2 on Lawless. 1 and 2. Among your many great stories of your playing days, I seem to recall one where you were never told that you had made the team. You just were never told you hadn't made it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was like a stowaway on the team charter. It's going to keep on going like I'm heading to Houston, and they don't come and tell me otherwise. Actually,
did you have a feeling of maybe they forgot, they didn't remember?
Well, yeah,
I'm just not going to say anything.
It was my first camp there. I'd been traded over to the Astros the previous fall, so it was my first spring training with the Astros, and I knew I was in competition for the 5th spot in the rotation. But there was never a declaration. Nobody ever said, "Okay, you've got the job." We're getting ready to break camp, and I told my wife, "Just start driving west. Stop in Houston, try to get a hold of me, and you're either going to keep going to Tucson or you're going to stay in Houston." Got on the bus leaving the ballpark that day. Nobody tapped me on the shoulder. Got on the airplane and said, "Okay, we're looking good here."
Would have been a better story if it had been the Marlins and the AAA affiliate at Calgary, but I get the point. Well, we were talking yesterday off the air about AAA, and it's such a unique level because you're so close to the big leagues, but you're not there. And guys just fight and claw their way to get to the next level.
I believe the term was it's the most bitter place on earth, AAA baseball.
Still 3-2.
You're so close. For the guys on the way up, you're so close, yet it's just a completely different world between the minor leagues and the big leagues. And then you've got those, veteran guys who maybe they've had a little big league time, and they see the writing on the wall where they're probably not going to get back to the big leagues for any significant amount of time. And that's what you got to have, good people. When you sign these minor league veterans that you're going to send to AAA, you want to make sure you've got good people because it can be toxic in a AAA clubhouse.
Runner goes on the 3-2 swing and a miss, strike three, and throw got away from Schwarber.
Like Kyle threw a changeup. He's trying to be really quick there. So watch his lead foot. He doesn't really get much of a stride.
The look said it all. There's Tomlinson.
How do you grade that one out if you're a scout? Didn't see much of an arm from Schwarber today. He said he made a couple real good throws the other day. One of the attributes you look for in a catcher is just being real quiet behind the plate. Set a good target, try to remain still. Saw Jonathan LaCroix, the Brewers, yesterday. He's one of the best in the business.
Might take third.
Tommy battle, Tommy.
Kelby Tomlinson's first major league home run was a grand slam off James Russell of the Cubs in San Francisco last August 27th. His other one came off a former Cub, Chris Russin. Swing and a miss. So Parra with a scoreless ninth works around the error. Cubs trail by 3, and they'll get their final at bat here. Hunter Strickland is on for San Francisco.
Yeah, big guy, throws extremely hard. He can touch 100 miles an hour. 55 games last year, 3 up, 3 down, a 2.45 ERA. Those guys who struggled a bit as a starter made the transition to the bullpen and has flourished.
Facing Donnie Dewey's. Second round pick in last year's draft out of the University of North Florida. Played at Eugene, 66 games to start his professional career. Bounced into right. Notice he had some big thing there in his back pocket. I assume that's a sliding glove or something, an oven mitt. Yeah. Protects your hand and also creates another object to be possibly hit by a pitch. I like it. Candelario looks at a strike.
Luis in college hit .422 with a .483 on base percentage and a .749 slugging percentage. Also stole 23 bases. If Casilla were to struggle, you could see Strickland getting some chances to close games with that power stuff. He's got good command too. He doesn't walk many.
Fans are into it here in the night.
Trying to get a little something going here on a lazy afternoon at the ballpark. Got to practice, right? Spring training. That rhythmic clapping is just not going to be there on opening day. You got to work on it here.
Swing and a miss, strike 3 for the first out. Jacob Rogers pinch hitting. '40th round pick, 2012. On the west coast of Florida, went to Dunedin High School and then Mount Olive College in North Carolina. He led Myrtle Beach in homers and RBIs last year.
He knew he was going to get the gas, just couldn't get the head out in front.
Come on, straight.
Mariners are here tomorrow. We'll see the Angels in Tempe on Monday. And then the A's and the Rockies here at Sloan Park before we head off to Vegas. Line shot, base hit. First and second with one away. Tying run will come up.
Guzman, a guy who could turn on a fastball. It's a good swing here. Boy, that ball had some sink down and away. Sticks his nose right in there. Pings it the other way.
RBI double for Guzman in the fifth.
Slow down.
Struck out his first time up on a 3-2 slider from Jeff Samardzija. Next time up, it was a breaking ball again. This time he got it. Hammered it to left for a two-base hit.
What are we doing?
2-1.
Not challenging.
Stella waits on deck. Giants at double play depth. And the ball hit hard and foul. Way out of play.
Guy's built like a tight end.
Think about some of the pitches we've seen today. Samardzija, Lackey, Richard. They get one. They get them both, and that'll end the game. 5-4-3 double play. And the Giants beat the Cubs 5-2. The next time these two teams meet, it'll be in May, late May in San Francisco. So the final score today, Giants 5, Cubs 2. We'll have more from Sloan Park in a moment.